Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel with Life with the Silvas. If you guys are new here, welcome. I'm Kat. There's more about me down below in the description box, and there's videos you can also follow up with me later. And of course, if you're my subscribers, welcome back. So this video I'm going to get into is a bit emotional for me probably right now because it is very, very fresh to what happened. It happened a couple days ago. I want to say like 3 days ago. So I'm not wearing any makeup, so if I look like death, I'm sorry, but this is me with no makeup, and I don't always do my makeup either. So this video is going to be a discussion within my son, Robert, who is 2, and he had a febrile seizure. So bear with me because I'm usually with my kids too, where I can, I can close my door, they're fine, all my outlets are covered, there's nothing that they can be in harm's way. Huh. I love you. But with that being said, so there might be some pauses and everything, so just bear with me with everything, and this is going to be my story on what happened. So on Friday, which was April 20th, it was a normal Friday. Me and my husband, we got up early, we took the kids to their dentist appointment, no cavities, it was a good trip. So I was gonna go up to my mom's to go pick up my little sister to bring her down for the weekend and stuff. And my husband had left to work, and then I went up to my mom's, which my mom is about where I live, about an hour and maybe 30 minutes depending on traffic, usually an hour and like 10 for me, because I usually leave, I know like my traffic time and stuff. So I'm a little shaky talking about it already because it was very scary. So bear with me with the pauses and everything. And if I just stop recording, I just have to take a minute to gather myself. And I'm not really looking at the camera because I guess when I'm nervous, I do that. It was a good day. We went up to my mom's. Rob threw up on the way up there. We were almost to my mom's, but I figured it was because he was eating fries, and sometimes when he overeats, he throws up. So it wasn't a lot. It was just kind of more the watery, like liquid of his lemonade that he kind of threw up. So I was like, okay, like that's that. We got to my mom's. He was a little cranky, which I also figured because he has a molar coming out. So I was like, okay, there's a tooth breaking through. It's hurting him. So he's been a little cranky the past couple days, but no signs of nothing. No signs of being sick. No signs of a fever. Nothing. So he was my normal kid. So he was cranky. He ended up napping for maybe about 30 minutes, if that. And then my older sister came over and stuff, and we were over and stuff, and we're talking, we're all hanging out. And my boys with my 2 nephews, because my sister has 2 boys and I have 2 boys so far. Even though my oldest nephew is 11, we're gonna be 11, he plays really good with my boys. My boys are 2 and almost 4. So they get along great. And they're playing, they're running around, no problem. So where my mom and I were sitting, or my mom was sitting and I was standing, the boys are running around, and Bob took off this way where like my mom has this grass patch area. And Rob was laying on my mom. I don't even know how to explain it, how high off the ground. It's not even, maybe, okay, if you can see from behind me, let me see if I can okay, so I want to show you guys how high like my mom's little brick thing is. Like, let's just say here's the ground, and this is where her brick thing is at, okay? But lower, obviously. So Rob was laying on the bricks, okay? And he was laying there, and he was on his back, which now makes me think, was he seizing from then? Because he was laying there, and my mom has like this, where the grass is, like the little stem parts that grow up, and he was playing with it looked like. And then my mom's like, well, she said in Spanish, and she was like, what's that crazy kid doing? Because Bob's my crazy one. He's always the one getting into something. He's always the one trying to jump off things. Like, I call him my heart attack baby because he's my crazy kid. And Bob was laying there, and then so my mom said that, and I looked at him. Then he was on the grass, and I believe it was Chase, my youngest nephew, was like, what's Bob doing? And I was like, what is he doing? And something just told me, like, mother's intuition to go check on him. So I went to go check on him, and okay, my oldest two were playing in the room. Like I said, I leave my stuff open now because I'm like absolutely paranoid. So yeah, I seen him and he was actually on the grass now, and his feet and his arms were up, and he was just kind of like weirdly moving. So I went over to him, and by the time I went over to him, he was already blue. And I seen him and I called my sister, and I was like, call 911, like call 911 right now. It's really hard to talk about still, but it's something, it's real and it happens, and it's part of my real life. Oh. To see your kid blue in the face, and where my mom lives, to get to Palmdale, Lancaster area, like where the hospital's at, is like 30 minutes away. And so I'm screaming, and I'm screaming like a crazy person for them to call an ambulance. And he's just seizing, he was just seizing, and everything medical that I've done was out the door. Like, it was, I couldn't even, you know, normally for stuff medical, you know, someone in knowledge I know as a medical assistant for what I went to school for, would have been common sense to, you know, lift his hair up, you know, his head up, no obstructions for his airway, put him on his side. But when you see your kid that blue, and I was begging God, and I was like, don't take my boy, like, don't take my kid. This is why I didn't want to wear makeup, because it's so highly emotional. My sister's freaking out, my mom's freaking out. Our emotions were just so high, and I could just see my kid turning bluer and bluer by the second. And I try not crying about it and stressing myself out because I'm pregnant and I don't want to stress the baby out. But all I could do was beg God, like, don't take my kid. You know, I didn't know why he was having a seizure. I didn't know what, did something bite him? Did he touch something that he's allergic to? Like, he always plays outside. He's played in my mom's yard before. Like, what could have caused his body to seize? And it wasn't like, it was a little seizure. Like, it lasted a good maybe 3-4 minutes. But those 3 or 4 minutes felt like the longest minutes of my life. And I'm screaming at my sister because she's trying to explain to, you know, the 911 operator on the phone, you know, what's going on. And I'm screaming at her, and I'm telling my mom, because Raymond was out there, and I was like, take Raymond inside, take the boys inside. One sees one, and then the other one sees the other, and they both come. I really just don't want them, mainly Raymond, for listening to all of this, because he really was freaked out. But Rob was laying there, and I was holding him, and my sister telling me if he's not breathing, they're going to shock his heart, they're going to get the AED out. But I'm telling you, everything medical that I've known and I went to school for, CPR, what to do, went out the door when it came to my kid. It was just something I never would even wish on my worst enemy to go through. I couldn't react. I couldn't react like a normal person to, okay, lay him down and stuff. And, you know, my sister's yelling at me. They're saying, take off all his clothes. You know, we need to get him undressed because they were possibly going to shock his heart because he was so blue. And I thought he stopped breathing. The neighbors from across the street from my mom's came over. The neighbors next door, who my sister and them know, came over, and thank God for that lady. She helped kind of snap me back into it and put Bob on his side, lift his airway, and the paramedics, well, first the firefighters, you know, got there. They were the first responders to get there, along with the cops. And it felt like an eternity for somebody to come help me. The ambulance actually didn't get there probably for a good while because the firefighters were the ones who actually helped me They took his blood sugar, they assessed him, they put the oxygen mask on him, but he wasn't being responsive. His color was coming back, but he wasn't being responsive. And in my head, I just felt we still weren't out in the clear. Like, in my head, the moment, I'm just like, why is he seizing? And they took his temperature. I forgot what his temperature was at that moment, but they took his temperature and it was pretty high. And they were telling me, like, has he had his fever? He just, forgot to give him his medicine. No, because my kid was fine. Like, he wouldn't have gone to his dentist appointment if he was sick. Like, he went today and he had no problem. But the thing, I want to draw it out for you guys to show you. I'll probably put it and insert it for you guys, explaining how when a baby's temperature, it filters differently from ours. So when his temperature is fine and it's going, and even just a littlest spike, the way his body is, it's going to react, and that's going to cause his body to seize. And I didn't know that. He wasn't sick with me. He didn't have a temperature. So in my head, I'm like, why? But I guess between him running and his body was already warm from whatever he was fighting, a viral infection, his body just, for him, just that little bit of a spiked it enough to where he ceased. And my mom was screaming. I'm telling you, we were all so freaked out. And I just don't want to cry because I know this room still echoes, and Ray's gonna come down the hall, and him and his brother are close. Like, they're 2 years apart. Like, as much as Raymond pushes him and he bullies him and everything, like, they're brothers and they're so close. And when the responders and everybody were there and they were assessing him, and Raymond's like asking, is Bobby gonna be okay? And I was just telling him yes. In my head, I really didn't know, but seeing his face, it was overwhelming. I had the police people next to me here, like, asking me questions, the first responders asking me questions. Do I have a bag for him? Do I have this? And in my head, I'm just like, can you fix my kid? Like, I don't care for a bag. Like, somebody can bring me a bag later to the hospital. But of course, I know, like, it's part of their job to do everything. But in the heat of the moment, I was just so irritated because I just wanted my baby to be okay. I really thought my son was gonna die in my arms. And that is the scariest feeling no parent should have to go through. I really thought my kid was gonna die. He was so blue. I felt like there was just no color coming back to him, like nothing. It was the most scariest feeling ever. And it left me with anxiety from, like, all Friday night to, like, basically almost yesterday, Sunday. And I tried not to stress on it, and I was trying not to because I'm pregnant and everything. I feel the emotion the baby feels. But how don't you have emotion on your kid? How don't you, to have your kid in your arms and they're seizing and they're blue, how do you not have emotion? How do you not panic? No. And they're assessing him, and he was getting better. He stopped seizing and everything, and his color was coming back, but he wouldn't open his eyes. And I called him Bobby, all his little nicknames, and tried telling him Transformers and everything, and he wouldn't respond. He was just laying there with his eyes closed. And my sister told me she'll meet me there. They strapped his car seat to finally when the ambulance got there, they strapped his car seat to it, they buckled him in, and that ride to the hospital was like the longest ride. Where I live, literally like less than 6 minutes away is Riverside Community Hospital for me. Another maybe 8 minutes down the road over here, I have Parkview Hospital. Emergency, like, he needs more treatment. My kids, there's Loma Linda not too far from us, which is a really good hospital too. Like, I'm surrounded by hospitals, and my mom, they only have Antelope Valley Hospital out there, and then there's Palmdale. But from Lake LA, anybody in my Lake LA, like my AV family knows it's a good distance. And when your kid is in that emergency, like, you don't know what to do. So that night was the longest night of my life. I was nauseous already. I'm really hungry with this pregnancy too. So I was trying not to throw up in the ambulance ride on top of it, just from shock, from being hungry, through everything. He was quiet the ride. Like, he was awake and he was alert, but not my normal Rob alert, not my normal, he's, you know, drunk and he's loud. And, you know, we get to the hospital, they took his temperature. He was rectally, his temperature was 105, which is extremely high. You know, they asked me, has anybody been sick in the house? None of us have been sick. We've all been good. Like I said, I won't take my kids to any kind of appointment, dentist, you know, an eye doctor, anything, if they're sick, and risk of getting another child sick or anybody else sick. So, you know, they had their dentist appointment. They were fine. Nobody's been sick. But they, once the doctor further assessed him later, they gave him some Motrin at first to reduce his temperature, just keeping an eye on him, monitoring his temperature went down, and then they checked his ear, and his left ear looked a little bit red, and he said that looked like an infection, which is normally like, I think, yeah, it was his left ear. You know, normally my kids, when they're sick or not feeling good, they'll signal to me something like, something's wrong, my tummy, something. And Rob was fine all week. He showed no signs of his ear hurting, nothing. So, like, the doctor explained to me, that's just the way sometimes the body reacts, you know. For us, it's chills, we shiver. The body, for kids, they don't know how to do that, and it can happen until he's 6 years old, which is scary, because anytime he gets sick, or his body, for me now, I'm scared he gets really too hot in the summer or something, is he gonna seize? About a year ago, he had a febrile seizure, and that was the first time. Again, it was with me by myself. Luckily, my brother-in-law, you know, was living next door and stuff, and when that happened, it was like, it was scary, but I was able to grasp what the 911 operator was telling me. I was able to talk, and I was able to, like, keep Ram calm. I, you know, was telling him to go to his room. Go play.